Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to Minutes of Audio. Today we're going to be talking about The Weeknd's new concept album, Dawn FM. If you like what we have to say, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. So, Carl, what did you think of this album?
I think it was a worthy successor to After Hours. Obviously, that album put high expectations on basically everybody. And since this album release was kind of out of nowhere, I mean, he only hinted at it, what was it, a week or 2 weeks beforehand?
Yeah.
Uh,
No, a week. Like,
yeah, uh,
first day of the year he announced it.
yeah, it was like really close
Or
to its
5 days.
release date.
Or 6 days.
Um, you know, I feel like he lived up to everyone's kind of hype for it. Uh, there, it's definitely a very solid record. I think sonically the album is maybe not as good as After Hours, but it definitely like reaches, you know, at least close to that type of quality.
It
Conceptually
flows
though,
better.
it flows really good. Sonically, the songs flow almost perfectly. Um, and I know we're gonna get probably get into this more later in the record, but I feel like conceptually it was maybe my biggest problem with the record. I feel like conceptually the album didn't meet up to its expectations that it set out to or that it set out. Uh, and it felt like it almost half-assed the whole purpose of the record.
I like how he embraced his slower sound, which is also more reminiscent of the sound that he used to be making more constantly on his older albums.
Hmm.
Uh, it's definitely not as popping in your face as After Hours, which I think was a large part of the appeal of After Hours. This one was more toned back instrumentally on most tracks. Some of the instrumentation felt kind of bland. So overall, I like the album. It was definitely not in the same vein of After Hours, where that was more of a in-your-face 80s pop record. Not
Hmm.
really 80s, but 80s inspired pop record.
Yeah.
This one is a much slower album, and they even reference it on the album, saying you're listening to some easy, slow listening. Um,
Yeah, it's definitely a much different has a much different flow, and I like the direction to be honest. Uh,
I do too, but the only sorry for cutting off, but the
no.
only issue I had with the one of the only issues I had with the album was like what you said about how the concept really wasn't completely put together,
Yeah.
and how some of these songs instrumentally were kind of bland. There
Hmm.
was a lot of them that just were not enough going on, in my opinion, and I know that's what he was going for. But I still think he could have done something to make some of the songs more entertaining, like the song "Best Friends."
Yeah, that one was.
Kind of a slow burn.
It was very. It felt just very average. That one, I think, I think "Don't Break My Heart" felt pretty meh too. One thing that I'll say, uh, for his defense, I think almost every hook on this thing is top quality. Besides the track with Tyler the Creator, that hook I was pretty iffy about. But besides
That
that,
hook grew on me in overtime. Like on
I
my third listen, I started to really like it, which I found was a common trend in this album. The
yeah,
first few times I listened to some of these songs, I really wasn't the biggest fan of, but on repeat listens, it really does grow on you.
that was the exact same for me. My first listen to this, I was not feeling it at all. I only had two or three songs that I actually enjoyed. Uh,
That's it.
yeah, maybe like three or four, but it was not more than that.
I think I had maybe 4 or 5 that I didn't enjoy, and now I have
Hmm.
like 3 or 4 that I don't enjoy.
I mean, I felt it just felt like a lot of the songs are average. For whatever reason, though, on repeat listens, you kind of start to see. I guess you just kind of start to appreciate what he was doing with some of these songs, especially a song like the intro track, the intro song, "Gasoline." I know we both didn't like that on first listen, but really like prying through the lyrics, um, and I guess getting more listens into that one, you really it starts to grow on you a lot, and
And I think, oh sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say it feels like the perfect introduction to an album like this, especially conceptually.
And I think one of the reasons why we both didn't like it at first was because it doesn't sound like The Weeknd at all for the first minute of the song.
Yeah, it's very shocking.
Yeah, it's a shock, especially when you're expecting something after hours level
Hmm.
right away. But and then the chorus, when you get to the chorus, it's really not what you expect. I feel like, but again, on repeat listens, this has become maybe in my top 3 songs.
It's definitely at least in my top five, uh, and I think it feels like the perfect. Like I couldn't have picked a better song out of all of these to put in the beginning. Just kicks everything off so perfectly, especially in the narrative.
But
Uh,
even the intro track, like the actual introduction track to the album, the
hmm
On FM, the song,
Yeah,
I still think was a very good addition to it, and I kind
yeah.
of like how that opened up the album because it
Oh,
sets up the entire
oh yeah,
concept.
I definitely agree. And I like, and this goes for all of his instrumentals, or all the interludes. They all have a really appealing musical element to them, to where you don't want to skip them. I don't even on repeat listens to the album. Even if I understand the gist of what's happening in the interlude, I don't skip them just because they feel so proper. They feel like an integral part of the album experience, and musically they're enjoyable enough to where they don't feel like a chore getting through them like some interludes do on many other records.
Especially on the Little Sims album.
I was actually thinking about that one. Like 7 different interludes, and they're all kind of
Because he has one interlude on this album that is just Quincy Jones talking,
yeah.
and Little Sims had that, and like that just sucked for some reason. But when
Like,
Quincy Jones did it with the Weekend instrumental, and I'm pretty sure that was Quincy Jones on bass
hmm
too. I think that really showed how special interludes can be.
yeah. I mean, I thought some of the Little Sims ones were decent, but this is really how you want to make an interlude because none of them felt like they were wasting your time.
Yeah.
Uh, and especially the beginning and end. Well, I don't even know if you would call those interludes, but especially Phantom Regret by Jim. That one was
That's one of my favorite tracks.
same. And it's not even a song really. It's just written poetry basically.
Yeah, over an instrumental. Written by Jim Carrey, by the way.
Yeah, which I thought was very impressive. I don't know how that collaboration came about, but it was some
Necessary.
yeah some of the best parts on the record.
One of the songs that sounded to me like it should was a B-side from Afterlife was this single from the album Take My Breath. When I first heard that, when the song initially came out, I thought The Weeknd was just making a Afterlife 2 album,
Yeah,
but that's really one of the fewer songs, in my opinion, that sounds like it's directly from Afterlife. The rest of them sound like a more matured Afterlife.
hmm
But
Surprisingly, though, "Take My Breath" I would say is one of the best songs on the entire record.
eh,
I have it in my top
I,
three.
I like it and all, but I just am not the biggest fan of it. Like I don't go back to listen to that one for some reason.
I don't know
There's
that
definitely no
like
blinding lights.
that I don't know if it's a synth bass, but that really don 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 don. I don't know why. I think I love that sound. Whatever. I think it's a synth bass. But yeah, I love "Take My Breath." Uh, especially the instrumental section, mixed with the Weeknd's vocals, almost perfect. And then how the synth bass comes in at the end, caps off the song. I don't know. Even though it may be a B side, I you might be right on that. I thought this song, it didn't even feel like 5 minutes. It just fantastic.
The
Uh,
extended version is a lot better than the 3 minute version, in my opinion.
See, I didn't hear the 3 minute version, so maybe that's why I'm
That was the one that was underrated. I think the extended one just came out like with the album. Before
really.
that was just the 3 minute version.
That would make sense because I'm gonna guess the extended version didn't have the like the instrumental sort of section and the beginning
Yeah,
section.
the original "Take My Breath" was 3 minutes 40.
Yeah, so that extra 1 minute and 20 probably helped it a lot. Um,
But another standout track, in my opinion, on the album, for me at least,
mm-hmm,
was the "Here We Go Again" with Tyler the Creator on it.
mm-hmm,
I like the first time I heard this song. I loved it the first time I heard it. I I love how the song "Out of Time" transitions straight into it. A standout part of the song is when he says something about falling for the dick, and then he has the crowd cheer in the background. I thought that was a good touch on his behalf. And an issue that I don't have with it, that but many people do have with it, is the Tyler the Creator feature. A lot of people say it doesn't sound like it fits, or it doesn't sound like a Tyler feature, but I
mm-hmm.
think he did what he needed to do. He needed to be supporting the weekend, not the main focus of the song.
To be honest, for me at least, I was like you. This was one of my favorite songs when I first listened to it. But on repeat listens, I think it might be my least favorite. It's so boring to me. And if I'm being honest, it reminds me of a really crappy Drake pop song. Especially with My New Girl, She a Movie Star, like the way he sings it, how it's on the hook. I get Drake
I don't think
vibes
that's the
so
hook
much.
though.
Isn't it? It's a hook.
That's in the verse still.
But yeah, it just kind of felt like a boring Drake song to me almost. Uh, a boring Drake song that The Weeknd happened to sing. One of the and this is like the second to last track. But Less Than Zero, I think we should mention that song because that song was really stand out.
Yeah, that was another one of the songs that I loved right away. I think it's just an amazing acoustic synth ballad or synth song.
Mm-hmm.
It both elements of the songs added to one another. His vocals were great on it.
The way
Even the lyrics were pretty good.
it feels like the perfect ending to the record, like the ending track. It feels like the perfect ending track.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, as soon as I heard it, it felt like, yeah, I agree.
and I think like instrumentally, my favorite part of it was the ascending synth. I don't know exactly, but it's just do 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 do.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like that mixed so well with the song. The chorus was amazing. Yeah, I felt like it was such a beautiful send off to that album. And yeah, it was followed up by the Phantom Regret, which I think those two mixed together was perfect.
Yeah, Phantom Regret. Yeah, the Phantom Regret felt more like the epilogue to the album rather than
That's a
the ending to it.
that's a good way of putting it.
Much like how the intro track felt like the prelude to the album.
Hmm.
But before Less Than Zero, the song "I Heard You're Married" with Lil Wayne. I think The Weeknd is pretty mid on it. I'll be honest,
Hmm.
but Lil Wayne carries that song hard, especially with that. What was that line, Carl?
It was shoot. He treats you
You're,
like Virgin Mary, but you like it dirty. I'm Dirty Harry.
but the
Jesus.
way he says it, he sounds so suave.
So much charisma. That's one thing you gotta give Wayne. He always got charisma in his voice.
And it is an inherently funny line. I don't care who you are. That is a funny line.
Yeah, just everything about it. He knows how to deliver lines like that. And also,
Without making it sound cringy.
you have to give him credit because the song like dealt with like sexual topics, but it had a lean towards kind of feeling betrayed that this person's married and you thought like she was all for you. I totally didn't have faith in Wayne that he would keep to that song or that he would keep to that kind of theme. I thought he would have went off on a tangent about how he has sex with like all type of married women. Um, but no, he kept to it, and I was very impressed by that because normally, some lyricists will just kind of forget about the song topic and go on their own tangent. And it just, it wouldn't mesh well. But he worked with the song. You have to give him a lot of praise for that.
Yeah. And even just a few songs before that is the song Starry Eyes,
Mm-hmm.
which I can see why a lot of people wouldn't like, but I like how it's a slow build in a good way to the ending, and the ending doesn't show too much, which I usually don't like in songs, but I thought he pulled it off on this one.
It transitioned beautifully from "Is There Someone Else." Like I thought the sort of move from that track to "Starry Eyes" fits so well on the album, and it shows how great sonically the record is, sort of as a cohesive project.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
but
then but then the album caps off with a Phantom Regret by Jim, which honestly it shows how impressive Jim Carrey is as a human being that he wrote that himself. It really is a great uh, thing to listen to and take advice from. It's not just like a lot of this album is just a lot of toxic shit, which if you're
yeah,
into that, you're into that. But it capped it off on a very good message
hmm
presented. So
his delivery with it
big ups
too.
to Jim.
'Cause he's supposed to be like this like weird angelic like radio figure, and he pulls it off amazingly. This monotone voice that also seems really sort of well-meaning and everything. He pulls it off so well, and the fact that he wrote that poem speaks a lot to him. Uh, okay, so Ruka, do you want to talk about, because we were talking about this before, um, how we feel that the concept of this album kind of didn't fit? Like, do you want do? I think we should probably expand more on that, and we should talk about some of the songs that we feel fit conceptually with the album and how a lot of the songs didn't.
Okay. Yeah. So we some of this, most half of this album fits with it, and it sounds like he was writing it specifically for this concept. In the other half, just sounds like he didn't plan out the concept before.
hmm
I'll let Carl expand on it.
I, and this was like just this was I didn't even like go through it really and start writing down what songs applied or whatever. This was an intuitive thing at first. It felt like almost half the album was written and recorded before the concept emerged. Uh, and going through the track lists, we have 8 songs or 8 tracks. 4 of them include the interludes, so really only 4 songs um, are directly relevant to the themes of the record, and all the other ones are really just love songs, are songs revolving around like either sexual relationships or relationships in general, and they don't have to do with what the record really is about, and that's um, sort of like an existential message of regret, of self-reflection, of self-betterment almost, especially in like the Jim Carrey bit at the end when he talks about that. It has nothing to do with any of these morally deeper themes, and it just has to do with kind of vague relationship shit. And even like 4 of the songs that we mentioned on here, um, a lot of them also have to do with that too, but they kind of slip in some other themes more relevant to the record. So it kind of, I don't know, it feels almost incomplete, I guess is what I would say. It feels like that he didn't go all the way with the concept, and I think if he did, it would have felt, I think he would have done it more justice because it's a very interesting concept.
And even with the songs that fit in the album, it really didn't fit in the album. Like one of them was "Take My Breath," that
hmm
fits in the concept, and even that, it just
It's a stretch.
it is a stretch. Just like like truly, in my opinion, the only 2 songs that sound like it had this concept in mind was "Gasoline" and "Less Than Zero."
Exactly.
The other ones you have to have a stretch for, and then the other 4 interludes, and then even the songs that don't fit the concept, they keep up with the tone of the album,
hmm
but he just plastered his toxic relationship bullshit all over it.
And
And
it doesn't feel like songs you listen to like on your way, or waiting for heaven. Like, I mean, would you really listen to The Weeknd talking about how he wants to have sex, or he's having sex with his best friend uh
Absolutely. Why wouldn't
right before you see God?
I? Yeah, but
Yeah, it's, I don't know. But by the way, for the should we read out the eight songs or the eight tracks just so?
yeah.
Alright, so we have Gasoline, Take My Breath, A Tale by Quincy, Out of Time, Every Angel is Terrifying, Less Than Zero, and Phantom Regret. Like, so four of them
And the
are.
intro track.
Oh, and the intro track. That's right. So yeah, most of those are really just skits. Uh, and some of those are stretches too. So yeah, that was a big complaint that I had. Uh, that I'm glad I'm at least somewhat vindicated by after looking at the track list.
And just well, Carl, you have anything else to say?
No, I think after that I think I'm good. Why?
Okay, so I just have one issue I have to take up with everybody.
All right, let's hear it.
Everyone online that is talking about how this is the worst album artwork of all time is just stupid. I'm sorry.
Are they
This is
saying
his best
that?
artwork, period. An album of the year, one of the second tag on it is worst album artwork.
Really?
Yeah, it's good album artwork. It fits with the theme of the album first off.
Yeah, it
It
fits.
fits with his previous album covers, and it just looks cool. Like I would buy the vinyl of this just because of how cool the album cover looks.
It's like, it's kind of chilling too. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, because it looks so realistic.
I actually, I'm kind of shocked. I didn't know people didn't like the album cover.
Yeah, people don't like it.
Well, fuck
It might just
people.
be a now thing because a lot of people just like when AirPods came out, everyone made fun of that, but now it's
Hmm.
stylish.
Yeah, I don't think 2 years from now people are gonna say, "Man, that Weekend album is really good, but cover
The
album
artwork, though,
he missed."
I like the album artwork even more. It's mesmerizing listening to the album and just staring at his old eyes.
Yeah, yeah, I think it fits.
So, what would you rate this album, Carl? Well, actually,
Uh, should we
what are your
do?
top three songs on the album?
I was gonna say, yeah. So my top three songs, no order, is "Take My Breath," "Less Than Zero," and "Out of Time." Honorable mention, I'll put the Jim Carrey skit at the end, even though it's not technically a song.
Top three on the album are Less Than Zero, Gasoline, and Here We Go Again. Also with the honorable mentions of Phantom Regret by Jim. What would you
Do
say your least three favorite tracks, if you have any?
it would be, again, in no particular order. Uh, "Here We Go Again," "Best Friends," and "Don't Break My Heart."
Mine would be Don't Break My Heart, Best Friends, and Sex. So, what would you rate this album out of 10?
I give it a solid 7.5.
I'd give it an 80.
Alright, guys, that's the end of the video. Remember, if you like what you heard, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And on Friday, it should be, we are going to release an album review for not a classic album, but like an older album, Modern Baseball's "You're Gonna Miss It All." So stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's it. See ya.